Hi everyone, Paolina here, co-host of Afro Anime Initiative, and today or whenever you're watching this, I'll be reviewing the episode 2, of Carole and Tuesday. Now, this episode is called Born to Run, and again, the title card, has, the record and the title of the episode, but the song as well, so this, Bruce Springsteen, in case you didn't know. Um, this episode kind of picks up, where episode 1 leaves off. Carole wakes up. She starts her new job. Tuesday's left and told to clean up the loft or the apartment, of course. And that doesn't work out too well because she's a rich girl. She doesn't clean for herself, so of course she doesn't know how to do that. Carole goes off and this odd job is a mourner, like a professional mourner. The deceased hired them, and it's her first time doing the job, and her boss is like, yeah, just imagine when your parents died or when you were bullied. And she's like, okay. When it was her turn, of course you learn a little bit more about her, how she doesn't even remember her parents. She was so small when she was abandoned, when she was orphaned. And you get a flashback of her when she was bullied. I mean, she was, but you see the kid bullying her and pulling her hair. She turns around, she punches him. Mind you, she's like super tiny things. Kid is bigger than her. She beats him up. Of course, the guardian's like, hey, if you behave that way, you'll never be adopted. And of course, that fat kid is like, yeah, you piece of trash. You'll never be, looked at. And of course, Carole gets pissed and literally does a flying kick to this kid. So we go back to the present. She's like, no, I was the bully. Yikes. So she can't really, there's nothing sad for her, Then she winds up laughing because she, there's like a moment where a butterfly lands on the bald head of a priest and she gets fired, of course. What else is new? And then in the meantime, we meet Angela and Tao. Angela is the former child star, child actress turned model. Now she wants to be a singer to really, never be forgotten. And Tao is an AI music producer, and he doesn't work with humans. He just produces hits using an AI algorithm. And because, he uses this what is this? Sorry, I'm like drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Like I had it before. He essentially figures out, what makes a big hit, what makes a big, pop hit, make, the top 10, and he just cranks that stuff out. And so Angela works with him, and he does this test on her where she's literally strapped to a dentist chair. She's turned back and forth where she's, testing her tone, and you have all these little machines, how drilling, pulling her mouth apart, and she's just pissed because what the heck is this? And she like yells at him. She's like, oh, well, what is this? Do you hate humans? Are you an AI yourself? And of course he's like, yeah, I get that a lot. And he just doesn't care. Like, no, he doesn't want to work with humans, which is understandable. It's an interesting commentary on how technology is just now it's slowly taking over to the point where, if we look at a future, a lot of stuff, a lot of music, for instance, is produced by AI technology. You don't really get to see much of live human performances, live recordings, and stuff like that anymore, which is also an issue, which is something Angela's like, what the hell is this? No, I'm here. I'm the singer. Let me do it. So that's really, really, really interesting. Later on, we see Carole come home to an even bigger mess and helps Tuesday clean up. Then they sit and they talk before they go to bed, and they get to know each other a little bit more. What their favorite things are, little cute moments of learning a little bit more about each other. Carole expresses that she wants to play on a grand piano, and comes up with the idea of going to this concert hall where there is one, and they could just sneak in and play and see how they sound. because she knows she actually has a friend who's a security guard who works there. And so they go. On their way there, you see on this big billboard of Carole's mom in an interview talking about how she's running for office. I'm not sure if it's for governor or it's for office, and how she's going to be, the for the people, blah blah blah. And of course, if you watch any anime talking about anybody who wants to be a potential leader of a free world or so on and so forth, usually isn't the case. Like, they'll say they're before the people, but from what I've heard for later on in the series, keep an eye out. And Carol's like, oh my god, or not Carole, I'm sorry, Tuesday, and Tuesday's like, oh, yeah, it's my mom. Of course, Carole doesn't know. Surprise, surprise. And so they go on. At the concert hall, you're introduced to two characters, Roddy and Ertegun. Roddy is an AI, soundboard artist, like soundboard creator. I forgot the name. Excuse me. So he's there for Ertegun, who's the DJ, the musical act, and when you meet Ertegun, I hate using his name because he's annoying. He's annoying to me. I don't like him at all. Like, I just don't. Like, no, I don't. No, I don't see the point. When you first meet him, you could tell right off the bat he's a little into himself. Like, he's just one of those somewhat pompous DJs. They make a couple of big hits, they know how to mix music, and then all of a sudden they're the hottest thing since sliced bread. But, Ertegun leaves after talking to Roddy, and, Roddy is still messing around trying to figure out the sound for the hall, and he sees these two girls, Tuesday and Carole, at the doorway talking to a security guard, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And they both kind of storm the stage and set up, and he's like, oh, they're about to perform, let me record this. And he does, and the girls perform the song Loneliest Girl, and honestly, it's that song, out of all the songs that they make, which isn't a lot so far from what I've seen, this song in particular, it's such a heartstring puller. It just tugs at the heartstrings, and that song made me cry. I'll admit, it makes me cry. Not a lot of songs make me do that. So they did good with this one. So when they were done, they didn't perform the full song because it was still, they were still making it. They were chased off the stage by another security guard. And so Roddy uploads the video, and of course it becomes viral. And later you see, I believe you see Gus Goldman. We were introduced to him, drinking himself to a stupor in the first episode. And now you see him again in the same bar, but he hears this music again, and he's like, what the heck is this crappy music? And then, he hears it from the phone of a lady who was watching it with, I guess, her boyfriend. And he looks at it, and he's like, who are these girls? They catch his interest because they're not like any other performer he's worked with before. And he sees who uploaded it, and he knows this person. He knows Roddy. So, connections, man, the universe works in mysterious ways. And he reaches out to Roddy and goes, hey, who are these girls? Find out for me. I want to be their manager. I want to get them seen. I want the world to know about them. So Roddy finds out, and, of course, they hunt them down. They get their address. And the episode kind of ends with Gus just slamming on their door, going, hey, I want to be your new manager. Let me in. Of course, being an idiot, like, you don't, if you want to work with two teenage girls for anything, please do not slam on their door and threaten to break in just so you can tell them that you'll be their manager. It's quite an entrance. It really is. Um, but overall, the episode again was more introductory. We get to learn a little bit more about the characters. It's a bit fast paced, but at the same time, there's some slow, learning about who each character is from the ones that are introduced so far, and then the newer ones who are brought into the picture. It's each episode is about 20 some odd minutes, so it's pretty short and sweet. But again, you learn more and more about um, you know how that world is. I liked it. I thought it was an interesting you know progression in the story. Watching Tuesday and Carole perform together really does remind me strongly of Hallie and Chloe. With the piano and guitar setup, very simple, just those two instruments and their voices, and they're very also very very lovely, pretty girls too. So it's really 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 nice to see that. And again, when you watch more episodes, you see how each, character kind of imitates or, you know, I don't want to say imitate, but like parodies different actual artists. Um, and I'll get more into that in later episodes and later reviews. But that's essentially what they remind me of, who they remind me of. And it's really nice. It's really sweet. Again, it's we're still getting to know the show, so there isn't much that I feel is missing. I'm still kind of in the early stages of, okay, we're getting somewhere, you know. So for me, there isn't much missing. It's still, we're still getting to know everything. We're still getting to know everyone. Um, Overall, I liked it a lot. Let me know if you guys saw it or, will see it. And, tell us in the comments below. Let us know on Twitter at Afro underscore AI, or on Instagram, which is the whole shebang, Afro Anime Initiative, as well as our Facebook, again, Afro Anime Initiative, or right on our YouTube page, which is Afro AI. So, thank you once again for joining in. My name is Paolina, co host, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.